Peru is taking one of the biggest steps in its modern history to strengthen its national defense. The South American nation has launched an ambitious long-term plan with two major South Korean companies, Hyundai Rotem and STX, to rebuild and modernize its military forces. This isn't just another arms purchase. It's a national project to create a self-sustaining defense industry inside the country, one that can design, produce, and maintain its own military equipment. According to official announcements, Hyundai Rotem will invest around $270 million in Peru. That money will go toward building new assembly facilities, training local engineers and technicians, and setting up the foundations for Peru's first large-scale defense manufacturing program. It's a big step for a country that has long relied on imported military hardware, much of it outdated and difficult to maintain. For decades, Peru's army has used old tanks and armored vehicles from the 1970s, many of them built during the Cold War. Maintaining those vehicles has become more expensive each year, and spare parts are harder to find. The government decided that if the country wants a modern army, it can't just keep buying second-hand machines. It needs to build new ones and learn how to make them. That's where South Korea comes in. Korea's defense industry has grown rapidly over the past 2 decades, creating advanced tanks, ships, and aircraft that now compete with the best in the world. Countries in Europe, the Middle East, and Asia have already partnered with Korea to build similar equipment at home. Now, Peru is joining that list. The project will happen in 2 main stages. The first stage, from 2026 to 2028, focuses on importing new equipment. Peru will receive 99 K-808 armored vehicles and 46 K-2 Black Panther main battle tanks, all built in South Korea. But they won't just be shipped over and parked in storage. Each batch will come with full training packages for local crews and mechanics, ensuring that Peruvian soldiers can drive, repair, and operate these vehicles without depending on foreign teams. The K-808 is a modern 8x8 armored personnel carrier. It carries 2 crew members and 10 troops in the back. It's powered by a 420 horsepower diesel engine, can reach speeds up to 100 kilometers per hour, and travel around 800 kilometers on one fuel tank. It's designed to handle almost any terrain, mountains, deserts, mud, or city streets. For a country like Peru, with its extreme geography from the Andes to the Amazon, that flexibility is critical. The K-2 Black Panther is on another level entirely. It's one of the most advanced tanks in the world, featuring an automatic loading system, digital targeting computers, and strong composite armor that can resist modern anti-tank weapons. Its 120mm smoothbore gun, based on a German design, allows it to hit targets accurately even while moving. It weighs about 55 tons, but can still reach 70 kilometers per hour on roads and 50 kilometers per hour across rough terrain. For the Peruvian Army, it represents a jump of several generations in technology, mobility, and firepower. But the real goal of this partnership is not just to receive shiny new tanks. The second stage, which runs from 2029 to 2040, will focus on local manufacturing. Under this plan, Peru will start building these same vehicles inside its borders. Together with its state-owned company, FAME SAC, and with technical support from Hyundai Rotem, Peru will produce 181 more Ka-808s and 104 K-2 tanks domestically. About 30% of all parts will be sourced from Peruvian suppliers, an important step first toward full local production. To make that happen, South Korea will provide not only machines, but also technology transfer and training programs for Peruvian engineers.
That means locals will learn how the vehicles are designed, assembled, and maintained. This type of cooperation is what many developing nations have long wanted. Not just buying equipment, but gaining the ability to build it. Military analysts describe this as a leapfrog strategy, skipping all technology and jumping straight to the latest generation. Instead of slowly modernizing over 20 years, Peru is using this partnership to jump ahead in 1 decade. That's why experts say it could change the balance of defense technology in Latin America. South Korea's model has worked before. Poland, for example, is now building hundreds of K2 tanks and K9 howitzers in its own factories, with Korean support. Egypt has a similar partnership. In both cases, it helped local industries grow and reduce dependence on foreign arms dealers. Now, Peru wants to follow that same path, to become a producer, not just a buyer. For South Korea, this is also a strategic expansion. It helps the country enter new defense markets in Latin America and build stronger ties with potential allies in the region. For Peru, the benefits are clear: new technology, new skills, new jobs, and greater independence. It's a win-win partnership where both sides gain something lasting. This deal also changes the geopolitical landscape in South America. For years, Peru's defense purchases came mainly from Russia and Eastern Europe. Now, by turning towards South Korea, the country is diversifying its partners and connecting with Asia's growing defense network. That shift could influence how other Latin American nations make their own procurement decisions. Neighboring countries like Chile, Colombia, and Brazil are all watching closely. If Peru's project succeeds, it could become the region's new defense manufacturing hub, a place where armored vehicles and tanks are made for domestic and export use. But if it fails, it will serve as a reminder of how difficult and expensive defense modernization can be for developing nations. The project also brings major economic benefits. Building factories, training centers, and supply chains will create thousands of new jobs. It will also boost Peru's metal, electronics, and automotive industries, making the economy more diversified and resilient. In the long run, this could help Peru reduce unemployment, improve wages, and build technical expertise across the country. Still, success will depend on discipline, transparency, and consistency. Technology transfer takes time. If the government doesn't manage it carefully, the program could face delays or corruption risks. That's why Peru's leaders are calling for close coordination between the army, local industries, universities, and government agencies. Everyone involved must work together to make the project sustainable for decades to come. This modernization isn't just about weapons, it's about national confidence. For the first time in history, Peru is planning to produce its own tanks and armored vehicles on a large scale. That changes how the country sees itself, not just as a user of foreign technology, but as a builder of its own strength. As global defense experts often say, true power is not measured by how many weapons you buy, but how much you can create and sustain on your own. For Peru, the partnership with South Korea could be the beginning of that transformation, a step toward independence, innovation, and pride. And in the end, as every soldier and engineer in Lima now understands, real strength doesn't come from imported machines. It comes from people who dare to build their own future, piece by piece, tank by tank.